Hey guys, so full disclaimer, I am Yang Gang, okay? I do support Andrew Yang. I want him to be our next president of the United States. And that's why I am making this video. I'm kind of nervous because it's my first response video. However, our good friend Fred the Felon had sent me this video of this man. His name is Anthony Brian Logan. And I never really heard of his channel before. That's not to say he's not a good YouTuber. I just never heard of him before. But I'm glad I got to see this video because I'm in a particular situation that I am black, I am female. I've never had a child before. However, I am a rare entity to the Yang Gang. Not a lot of black people support Andrew Yang at this moment, and not a lot of females compared to the males support Yang. Like the ratio is it's like 70% male and it's like 30% female. So I want to make this video to show my perspective on why I think, even after this Mississippi experiment for UBI, why I think that Andrew Yang's universal basic income, aka the freedom dividend, would still be the best way to move forward in this country. See, I'm so nervous. Oh my God, I hate confrontation. But this needs to be done because I want to stand up for what I believe in. So let's take a look-see. This article right here. And again, I'll link this down in the description below. I'll link this down and then the video that we have here by Mr. Anthony Brian Logan. But this experiment, right? Apparently, this nonprofit decided to experiment with the universal basic income, and 20 black female single mothers, if I am correct, participated in this experiment. So they were getting $1,000 per month, no questions asked, no strings attached, no paperwork, given this money, and you're free to do what you want with it. Now, Mr. Anthony, the main thing that he highlighted, there's a lot of stuff in this article that I think is worthy to go over. So honestly, it's just a lot of interesting stuff here. But, they mentioned, people that are running the presidential election, and they mentioned Andrew Yang, and down here, talking about the actual females that participated in this experiment. They talked about how, what did they do with the money and, how they react to it. A lot of people, honestly, I think it's I want to look at this holistically because I think that the way that Andrew Yang talks about the universal basic income is so simple and so unique. I think some of the main points to talk about is giving people choice in their lives, that's one. Redefining work and what is work for a human being. Okay, what does classify as work? And then third is building community. How do we build a better community to support one another? Okay, and those 3 points are super, super important, which I'll go back and forth while I go through this article here. But, essentially, I think it's funny, at first the females were like, wait, I get this, money for free? Really? This is, no strings attached? Yeah, they're, Cheryl Gray here, Jackson, Mississippi. She said, I can do anything with it. 25 years old, single mother of 2. Recall thinking because this was not the way assistance programs typically worked, she was kind of skeptical, I just get this money and no questions asked, no strings attached. So I think that's something to note. And then, further down, I talk about the welfare. Oh my God, I'll probably make another video talking about the welfare program and how Andrew Yang's version of UBI and how that works with our current welfare system. Obviously, Anthony talks about this a little bit and how, is it fair that, the people that would need this money the most don't get it automatically? they have to opt in. They would still get it, but it would be opt in. They wouldn't be stacked on it, or they wouldn't get it automatically. That's a conversation that I have to talk about another time, because I just want to stick to the more sociological perspective on this experiment. And yeah, like obviously, as you guys know, Scott Santens talks about why the UBI / the freedom dividend would not be stacked on certain welfare programs, stuff like Social Security that would be stacked on it, but something like SNAP or AKA like food stamps, that wouldn't be. Okay, but I just want to move on here, because there are some things that Anthony, you didn't really mention in your video, which I think is a shame, because later down this article here, Cheryl Gray, she says, she got pregnant at 16, growing up poor, and people started to say, I've never, you'll never become nothing. I wanted to show I could do it all by myself. So I assume she's talking about that, when she got pregnant so young, she didn't have that communal support. A lot of people judged her for it, and obviously that does not help that situation. So I can only imagine getting pregnant that early, and just having that kind of guilt and shame that I've kind of let my community down, in a sense. And now I have this financial burden because I have to take care of this child. Now, I think that sex education is terrible in this country. I think that how Americans are very have this Puritan mindset about sex. That's another thing that has to do with why females get pregnant so early and why they're not prepared. But I'll again another freaking video, another big topic. But I think it's interesting that these females, anybody in general, we always have pressure to live up to our, the best that we can be. And I think a lot of people have, especially looking at Anthony, and how I just sense that he was placing maybe too much harsh judgment on these females because they didn't know how to spend their money, which you're saying, what? They didn't know how to spend their money? And that is left for argument, because later down, the same female, Cheryl Gray, she said, she said, I'm not even sure what I would do now. I just don't want to be living like this. This scarcity mindset. Andrew Yang talks about, I know I'm going all over the place, but bear with me, okay? I'm getting to a point here, and I'll go back to the points I made earlier about choice and redefining work and building community. But I have to mention Andrew Yang because he's my boy. He talks about how financial stress is statistically proven that, if you have a lot of stress financially, your ability to make decisions get lowered. Your IQ is 13 points lowered if you have if you're worried about a bill you have to pay, or a late bill, compared to if you don't have any late bills to pay, or if you're financially secure. So that, along with the stigma of being a single young mother, you can imagine that they probably wouldn't know how to use this money in a more effective way. But again, what a lot of them did with the money, and I'll go down here. A lot of them, and this is what Anthony says right here, which honestly, I'll just play the video right now.
Initial results of the experiment were on display at a meeting held after 1 month of payments. Some of the women talked about their gift-filled Christmases and sported new hairstyles. Are you surprised? Some said they took a sick day for the first time. They began paying off overdue electricity bills and high-interest loans. Well, paying off bills That's a good thing. But high interest loans, I mean, what are you getting with? You getting a car you can't afford, a Camaro or something like that. But we'll move on. Kira Johnson, a social worker, asked how much money the women had saved. Quote, I blew all of it, Gray recalled. It only took a weekend. Most of the women said the same thing. In a month, nearly all of the money had vanished. Then
Right.
they asked if we
Okay.
were going to hand them the next check. So really, these people in the projects, let's pause for a moment. People in the projects on welfare and government assistance, that's all they know. That's all they know. They're trying to get the check from here to there and get them to where they got to be.
Okay. So I have to say, like, honestly, I I actually kind of like um this guy seems intelligent. Like Anthony, you do seem like you're pretty intelligent and you're very articulate, which I appreciate. However, this what we have going on right here. This is just like the excerpt, one excerpt. Oh my god, of the article, and they failed. Of course, later down the article that he's. And I wish I had. Does he have? Okay. Because this is not the official article. Because later on it says, wow, it's almost as if people who are given a bunch of money will blah blah blah. I guess it may have said like blown it or wasted it or something. But later on in this article where this is where that was from. Yes, the females they did say that they used their money for recreational purposes. Went to the hair salon, went Christmas shopping and all that fun stuff. However, right before they say that, they actually talked about how they were ashamed to even tell their family members and I assume their friends too, that they were getting this money, that they were in this program, because they were kind of like worried that they would bug them for money. So, Andrew Yang talks about the scarcity mindset and how I know a lot of people, are they kind of feel isolated in their own lives because there's not enough to go around. I don't, want anybody to bother me. I just want to do something on my own and then just, be on my merry way. And I feel like a lot of these females definitely felt like that because, isn't it such a shame that they couldn't even tell their families that they were getting this like great opportunity, to help better their lives. And this brings me back to the third point I mentioned earlier about how the UBI, if you apply it universally, then it would create more of a community and more of appreciation for one another and not build this like, oh, like this is mine and I can't share and I can't tell you about it. Or, like imagine if, everybody in this community, almost everybody above the age of 18, and those that would opt in from certain welfare programs. Imagine that they were all getting this money. I'm sure the females would probably be like, oh crap, like my mom's getting this money, my brother's getting this money. Okay, maybe I can talk about it with them and get to know or strategize what we should do with it, or just talk about, hey, isn't this amazing that we can probably go on a vacation? It's good that we can go to the hair salon. It's good that we can buy Christmas presents if you want to. Because guess what? That will create jobs and opportunities. You're like, well, how would I do it? These females are wasting their money. They're not getting a job? Well, the thing is that store, see, I work at Hallmark. We're all about the holiday season. We already have Halloween stuff and Thanksgiving stuff and Christmas stuff up already. So for me, if more people have more money to spend buying Christmas gifts and stuff, that would essentially be beneficial for me, a worker who is working, part-time retail work while she's hustling, trying to get her, YouTube career up and her art, career up, up from the ground. I can essentially, that would increase my hours. And eventually down the line, that would increase my wage because, hey, we have more customers coming in. That's a good thing. And that creates more jobs. And that is what Andrew says all the time. Okay. And then, obviously, Anthony, I think the problem is that people were like, oh, well, how will this mother get a job to, be better off with, her child? And that brings me to my second point of redefining work and what do we consider work in America. And it's like, shouldn't we accept that a mother being a mother is work, like like literally like being a mother is hard work as well. And again, Yang talks about how, in our market right now we don't value that kind of work as valuable, because that, being a caretaker or a parent, single mom, single dad, taking care of your elder mom, your elder dad that can't take care of themselves anymore, like that work is valued at $0. And the UBI would help start to subsidize that, and to help, people like, okay, what you're doing already is valid work. Now, when it comes to these girls that, they, of course, it would be a good idea to save some of that, the $1,000. I mean, like $20, even if it was like $20, to save some of that aside for later. But it's very new for them, and they just didn't know. And I'm glad that a lot of people, especially in the comment section down here, a lot of people were saying, listen, like, this goes to show how in our education system right now, we need to like really help people financially, and like make that a priority for a lot of younger people, and like to have like an actual like mandatory like financial like class on how to use your money in the future. But the thing is that when we live in a society where it's so brutal to live in, like if you're not working 24/7, then you're not getting any money. It's hard for people to, again, manage their money correctly, because they have a lot of stress on themselves to keep working and keep working. And especially if you're younger, you're pressured to go to school. And I know people personally that they have to quit school because they're just working 60 hours, 70 hours a week, just trying to get money so they can help their parents pay rent and stuff. And they couldn't really do college because it was just honestly a waste of time. Like the whole point of college at this point is to get a good job to make money. But if you're already on the track of making money, what's the use of going to college, And that, again, it's like, is that a smart decision? Is that not a smart decision? You're in a scarcity mindset. And I think that if you were to just give $1,000 a month flat for people, especially for younger people, they would take a financial course more seriously, because they're like, oh snap, like in like 2 years, in 12 months, in 6 months, I'm actually going to be getting some money to kind of play around with, and like kind of strategize what I want to do with my life. And again, Yang talks about this. I love that he says this. It's not socialism, it's capitalism that doesn't start at zero. It's like playing Monopoly or playing like the game of life, You start off with something, so you have the choice, and there goes the first thing that I talked about. People have a choice on what they want to work for, how they want to work. Why should we be just pigeonholed into, okay, the only way that you will even start to even make money is by working under somebody and working for a retail store, or working as a fast food worker, or anything else like that. And the problem is that, first of all, those jobs suck. I know. I work as a cashier. They just suck, especially being an artist. It's so freaking boring, and it makes you honestly less productive, because you feel like you're just wasting your time, and there's really nothing to do, because there's not a lot of customers, because not a lot of people have money to spend on, like, in Walmart, buying like $20 worth of like candy, or like a gift bag or something. But not only that are the jobs just terrible, but automation is going to take away these jobs, one by one by one. They're already doing it. I live in Delaware right now, and in Delaware, the first robot restaurant just opened up like 20 minutes away from me on Kirkwood Highway. And people say like the robots are kind of like not like good, like they'll mess with the order and stuff like that. I think it's like a Thai restaurant. The robots look like totally like Asian, East Asian like inspired, so I knew it was gonna be something Asian. But the thing is that like the robots are gonna get better. Like the fact that like that restaurant even rolled out shows that people expect it to get better, and people are investing so much money into it that even if that specific restaurant is not the quality of the robots or the waitresses aren't the best, guess what? Somebody else is gonna come and make it even better, or maybe the restaurant will get even better. Because people want to go for there just for curiosity. Anyways, stuff like that. Like, how can a person compete with automation, and like how would they even, it's just so much stress, especially as a young person. It's like, okay, apparently I'm supposed to hustle my butt off, trying, to get some money to do something. But then again, like these robots are going to take away a lot of the opportunities that I would have. So what the hell do I do? That's just one thing. And then, again, like I said, these women, like, they were, again, like it says right here, and I showed this, I'm sure I showed this before, but, the women started receiving the checks in December. Many of them kept their participation secret because they were afraid that neighbors and relatives might ask for money to protect their privacy. Oh God, Yandaro held a meeting in a place that people in their community rarely ventured, a gourmet ice pop shop in an upscale neighborhood about a 10-minute drive away. So you see, like stuff like this makes it people feel even more isolated. And this is like a program that should make people more liberated to talk about the money and to talk to people about how they should invest in this, how they should save in that, how they should spend in that. And I have to say, even though, Miss Gray here, she said she blew all of her money, it only took a weekend. Well, guess what? I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. Another thing that Yang says is that, hey, like I just said, it's good that this money will be spent. In Finland, the reason why that was that UBI experiment didn't go so well is because a lot of people saved their money. Okay, like it was only going to go for like 2 years, I believe. So in that case, people were like, okay, this is going to go away for 2 years. I'm just going to save this money so I can spend it later on. And that does not help the economy. It actually makes it worse because the money is not flowing throughout the community. So that's the point. Like, I actually think it's cool that, Miss Gray blew all of her money, because like that means cash flow. That means that, a person at a retail store, got an extra hour, or it's very short term, so they probably didn't get an extra hour just from this. But if it was going for longer, like for months and months, for years, that store would be hiring more people and be raising more wages, ideally. I don't think raising... businesses are stingy when it comes to raising wages. However, they would definitely be, adding more hours. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think it's a good thing. That, and somebody said this in the comment section below. Let me try to find this guy. Because they said, I think it's a good thing that they spend their money, because that's the point. A lot of it should be spent. And, the reason why it should be universal and that, rich people should get this money as well is because, it shows that like, hey, we all need a sense of security, and we're all human. That's what Yang always says. Like, it will remind Jeff Bezos that he is a human, right? And it's like, it would decrease the stigma that, oh, they're getting it, I'm not getting it. I have this feeling that, especially, in the comment section, like, yeah, I think people were mainly fair, but I think a lot of people were also very judgmental. Because they I feel like people were like, oh, well, these females, like, they got this chance to, like, change their lives, and they kind of blew it. Like, what the hell? But I have a feeling if everybody was getting it, they would be like, okay, well, if they decide to do that with their money, okay, I'm gonna do this with my money, and hopefully, that's luck to you. And or some people would probably feel compelled to help people like this that are financially illiterate, or they don't have a lot of knowledge and how to spend their money, and they, especially people in their communities. Like I have a feeling that again, their family members and their neighbors would probably feel more comfortable helping each other out, trying to figure out what to do with the money if everybody was getting it. Just because the specific section of people were getting it, yeah, a lot of people would probably be asking them for the money too because they weren't getting it. It's like, fuck, like why am I getting this money? Don't I deserve it too? I know I said I would find this this comment here, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. There are a lot of comments up in here. But yeah, guys, I think that's like those are like my main points I wanted to talk about. Like again, okay, we still have time. I didn't think this would be this long, but now I'm like on a roll. Again, Anthony, I honestly think that you are, you're an intelligent guy. I just feel like you haven't really delved into, especially Yang's perspective on UBI and how that would help people holistically, not just financially, but mentally and socially. And again, I'll go over the points. 1, choice. It would allow people to choose what they want to do with their lives. Especially, I'm a young person, I'm 20 years old. As a young person, graduating high school, your options and your choice of like how you want to live your life are pretty limited. A lot of people just feel like, okay, I have to be a lawyer, or I have to be a nurse, or I have to be, I don't know, like a banker or something. But if we had this money, there'd be so many more artists. There'd be so many more volunteerism. And, if you do want to settle down and have a family, I know even if you're young, it's like, oh my God, you want to think about having a family when you're young. But some people really do. Some people want to, settle down and get married and have a child really early on. If they want to do that, then we should support that as a community. I don't. I would rather just like go off, travel to South Korea and meet my favorite like K-pop artists. But some people have a different perspective on life, and I think we should support that. And the second point is redefining work. This kind of goes along with choice. It's like, okay, is being an artist work? I fucking think so. Is being a parent work? Being a single dad work? Single mom work? A single, I don't know, like even if you're adopting, is that work? Hell yes, is work. Like is volunteering for the elderly work? Yes, it is. Why are we valuing that stuff as zero in our market? This is what is contributing to our mental health crisis. People in depression, people that want to commit suicide, people that have committed suicide. They feel like there is no sense of community anywhere, and they have nobody to really talk to. They have no place to go. Even if, again, our options are very limited. Lawyer, nurse, banker, coder. I mean, if you want to work an engineer, that's pretty much it. Doctor, some people just, and again, the trucking industry, I mean, is so, the fact that we're automating away truckers in the next 10 to 15 years, maybe even sooner, is even the more reason why we should be thinking about, okay, what can a human do that would be that a robot can't do, honestly. And even if we do something that a robot can do, how can we start to cultivate the sense of worth and value within ourselves and not depending it on a job, not depending it on the money? It's funny that, a lot of people consider, the UBI a handout, and it's, people that want it only want the money. But for me, as a Yang supporter, it is far beyond that. It's far beyond getting the money. It's what it represents. It represents that we are beginning to see each other than a marketing machine. If you give people a certain amount of income, that means that we trust you to do with it what you will. We trust you in the fact that, like, you know what you want to do with your money. That's how I see it. And the third one, again, building community. I just simply hate that these females could not even talk to their own freaking family members and their neighbors about this. You know, and by the way, you know, it says in this article here later on that what was it? If they were going to save anything, the woman said they would need a little bit more guidance, which I love that they, at least some of them admitted that they needed that, which is good. And then some of them said that, one woman, Susan Johnson said that they began to share small victories. See, Mr. Anthony, you didn't talk about this in your video. One woman used the extra money to take time off and finish community college. Some sent their children to a day camp. One woman filled her gas tank to drive her children to their grandfather in Pennsylvania. The children had never met him. Okay. At the end of the 6 months, none of the women reported using an emergency lender. Nearly all said they had enough money to buy school supplies. So giving enough time, people will start to figure out what they should be doing with their money anyways. Of course, guidance helps tremendously. But, I just know human psychology. I know that, like, these women, before they got this money, I believe that a lot of them actually worked very hard. Like, surviving, in the projects, a single mom, a single mother of one or two kids, I'm pretty sure you pretty much hustle your butt off. Obviously, it's not the case all the time, but I think that majority of these women probably, did work hard anyways on top of being a mother. And I just think that $1,000 per month to help them out would be just great. And it should be $1,000 per month, across the board. Everybody should be getting the same amount. Because again, it decreases the stigma. I'm sorry, the camera's shaking a lot. I've been holding stuff for like 30 minutes. Yeah. So, the beauty of it all is that just been how folks are like, they aren't walking around with the heaviness of life that unfortunately so many times low income folks have to carry. Many women who were employed found better jobs, but despite Yang's prediction, the number of women who were in the workforce did not change. Similar results were reported from a guaranteed income study that took place in Finland. I didn't talk about Finland and some other stuff. But yeah, so, I think it's funny that they mentioned Yang at this point. Yang's prediction that a number of women who were in the workforce did not change. I wonder what they mean by that. I guess they mean that they didn't get a better job. Either or, again, I think that being a mother is a worthy enough job. And again, like, I would love to, like, for us to actually talk to these women and see what else would they want to do with their lives. Maybe some of them want to be an entrepreneur, have to create their own business. Maybe some of them want to be artists. Maybe some of them want to volunteer. Maybe some of them just want to be a stay-at-home mom. And I don't think that just, Yang's prediction is, Yang predicts a lot of things. Yang has a lot of different ideas on where this UBI, freedom dividend, will go. But I trust in him because I know personally that if I were to be getting this money, I would use it on my art. I would invest in like a camera. I would do more dancing. I would do more singing, more, visual arts, more videos, and connecting with people on that level. And I can only imagine how much, I just trust people. I think that this is going to be it. This is going to be the best chance that we're going to have to kind of regain some sort of sanity, regain our mental health, and then in turn regain our financial stability in our lives. Again, I will make other videos talking about the situation, but again, Mr. Anthony, I'm glad you made your video, but sir, I think that you didn't really delve that much into what Yang specifically talks about and why he thinks the freedom dividend is the best way to go across the board. Well, holistically, sorry, I ran out of storage room on my phone to record, but you know, I think how we perceive the UBI should be getting the financial boot off of people's throats. That will allow people to be more open-minded to solve their problems, you know, and that's something that's that, and then again redefining how we see work. So yeah, again, it's one woman's opinion. Again, I do not have children. I actually never really in poverty. Now I am poor right now. I don't have a lot of money. I'm actually bad at managing my money too. But luckily, I live with my mom right now, and you know, I grew up in like middle class, you know. So obviously, I'm not like an expert on on poverty and like the welfare system. But again, like I'm more of a person that wants to build community with everybody, and I think more sociologically and more psychologically. And I think, you know, taking UBI strictly as, okay, if you give, you know, people $1,000 per month, if they don't have a good job, or if they're not investing it into something, or if they're not saving a certain amount of money, you know, within, you know, a year long period, then it's failed. I think taking that perspective is just not saying the whole truth. And again, it's something that like is not even your fault. I don't think it's your fault, Anthony. I think that, you know, the fact that how we measure our national well-being as GDP, gross domestic GDP profit, Jesus Christ. I think how we measure, you know, money as, hey, we're doing well, that's just not telling the whole story. We have to talk about our mental health. We have to talk about, you know, our happiness, you know, art, how we're treating our environment, you know, just seeing people as marketing machines, seeing people as money makers. This is not who we are, and that's just going to make things even worse. Just judging people and saying that, okay, like this is how you have to use your money. No, give people a choice. In fact, listen to what people are saying. Listen to how people want to live their lives, and then go from there. And then the good thing is that this UBI will allow people to actually move, to actually be flexible, to actually exercise what they want to do. That's the point of the UBI, you know. And again, this takes a village. You know, this will take a community of people that understand this mindset. And that's why I'm so for Yang. And that's why I love the hashtag Yang Gang, because a lot of us are people that envision, that agree with, or that see Yang's vision, and we see it sort of like a chance of utopia in a sense, you know. And it's not something that is too far off. I really do think that people have a lot more empathy and compassion than we give ourselves credit for. I think people are way smarter than we give ourselves credit for. And that's why I essentially just believe in the freedom dividend and UBI and Andrew Yang and the Yang Gang. And listen, I hope you can just dig into Andrew Yang a bit more, Anthony. I really do. I wish you can look at more of his long form content. You know, I think some of the good ones that you would probably like is the Ben Shapiro interview. If you haven't seen the Breakfast Club interview, I think that'd be a good one to see. And of course, if you haven't seen the Joe Rogan interview, I think that'd be amazing to watch as well. That's the one that I personally got into Yang, is the Joe Rogan podcast. But yeah, so hey, you guys, comment and discuss down below. I'll be in the comment section talking to you guys. If you want to have a debate, go for it. I'll be there. Just don't be mean. Be understanding. I don't even really have to tell you that, because you guys are amazing anyways. But yeah, hopefully get this to Anthony. I want him and his audience to know that, you know, a person like me, Black female, has a different perspective on the UBI, and, you know, I support Yang 110 freaking percent. And I think you should too, honestly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. 사랑해요. 안녕 친구. 감사합니다.